Barangay Ginebra back in the semifinals of the PBA Governors Cup. The defending champs crushed the importless NLEX Road Warriors on Sunday at the Big Dome. The Smart Iron at the Coliseum. Final score wasn't even close, 127-93. Justin Brownlee showing why he is the gold standard for imports in the season-ending conference. JB led the Gin Kings here with 31 points, grabbing 13 rebounds, also dishing out 6 assists, along with his 4 huge steals and a block. Christian Standhardinger also stepping up for the champs. The best player for conference front runner added 20 points, grabbed 8 rebounds, and dished out 2 assists, all in 35 minutes of play. 4 other Gin Kings also scored in double figures, including Jamie Malonzo, who chipped in 20 markers. Up next for Ginebra in the semis, the San Miguel Beermen. Now joining us via Zoom for an all-out discussion on that titanic clash in the semis is Ginebra head coach Tim Cohen, the winningest coach in the PBA. And I always love having him on the show, win or lose. But of course, more importantly, when they win, he's in a good mood. Hi, Coach. Happy Monday. Good morning. Welcome back to the show. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's always easier coming here after a win, that's for sure.
You're in a good mood, right? Well Coach,
Yeah.
NLEX played without their import, Wayne Selden Jr., and you guys just really capitalize on that. You even led as much as 38 points at one point in a game. As a team, how were you guys able to maintain and sustain that killer mentality, knowing that NLEX's import is out?
Well, we didn't know he was out until literally we walked onto the floor. And as we were walking onto the floor, it was mentioned to us that he wasn't going to play, and I was shocked. The players didn't know it at all. And so when we came into the first huddle, we said, the import's not going to play. Let's don't take anything for granted. Let's come out and be aggressive. Let's, as you said, let's have that killer mentality right off the bat. And I was really pleased with the way Justin started the game. He came out. It's so easy to get a little campante when that happens.
Exactly.
And the import doesn't play.
And
it's kind of set you up, and we didn't allow that to set us up, or we didn't fall into that trap. So I was very pleased with it.
Yeah, that's true, Coach. That could have turned sideways in an instant, but props to you guys, to you, keeping the team focused, and of course JB still laser focused. Import or without import, you guys still sustained that killer instinct to do what has to be done. And as we see highlights of this guy, I even I can't think of any word else to describe JB or anything else that he could not do on the court. 31 points last night, Coach. 13 rebounds, 6 assists. I didn't mention about those 4 huge steals and a block. So doing it on both ends of the floor. Big night as usual for JB. And you've been with him many years now, Coach. Are you still surprised to see numbers like those from JB?
No, not really. He has such a good feel of how to use his teammates to great effect. So kind of like the Junmar effect with San Miguel. Junmar, you have to spend so much time focusing on Junmar, and Junmar does such a great job of keeping his players involved, his teammates involved, and they make his teammates better. So you're caught between a rock and a hard place. I have to defend Junmar, I have to defend their perimeter players. What's the choice?
Correct.
And he doesn't give you a choice. And Justin does that in his own way. He gets to different spots on the floor. He never gets the ball in the same place and tries to attack from the same place. He can attack from all different areas. And so it's really difficult for the team to predict where he's going to be and then be able to scheme him. And when they do something that's a little bit different, he's so willing to keep his teammates involved. And I just can't overemphasize how much his teammates love playing with Justin. They just love playing with Justin. He's so much fun to play with, and he's so much fun to coach.
Yeah, and it's also so much fun to interview, by the way, and just to talk to you. Just a really nice guy, genuine, great guy on and off the court. Siya pa nga nahiya, Coach. He's the one who even, he apologizes to me. I'm like, why are you apologizing? I didn't get up early. I'm tired. I got to rest. I'm like, I understand, man. You just had a game last night. Well, you guys are still missing some key players. Of course, obviously, LA is out. And then Japet also out. So 2 very crucial pieces. for Ginebra, but Christian Standhardinger, the bulldozer, just filling in the gap. And Christian, one of my favorite guys also to interview and to watch, because he just does the job out there, does everything. Even if it's a broken play or not, he'll make something out of nothing. And he's leading the best player of the conference race for the Governors Cup. How big is Justin? I know we've talked about this so many times, Coach, even when he won you a title in the Commissioner's Cup, and how valuable he is. But as time goes by, how big really is Justin without, guys like Japet also?
Well, like I said, Justin knows how to use his teammates. So he puts guys in their proper, gets them the ball where they can do the most damage. And Christian, he's very unorthodox, and that makes him tough to guard.
Correct. Yeah.
But he also is very, very instinctful. He knows where to get to his spots as well, where his comfort zones are, and he finds ways to get there. And he has some teammates that are excellent passers. Obviously Justin's a great passer. Scotty is just phenomenal. In terms of, he's been like that for the last 5 years. Phenomenal in finding his guys in the right spots. Jamie Malonzo is a much better passer than people think he is or know that, and they're just learning that about him. And so those guys are always locating them and finding them in the right spots. And he is so appreciative of his teammates doing those things for him. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, he's our anchor on our defense. He takes the toughest assignment every time and relishes it. So just the all-around play is just phenomenal for Christian.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's also averaging more than 37 minutes per game, which is number one for the locals. How are you making sure, Coach, that you're keeping C-Stan, Jamie, Justin, Scotty, and those guys crisp and fresh for the playoffs? We know you, Scotty, Justin, Jamie, you were part of that very, very busy Gilas preparations for the window. Let's not forget about the All-Star weekend that those guys also had to fly. I mean, it's great and everything, but, at one point, will fatigue be a concern for you, Coach?
Well, I would have thought so, but it's kind of slowed down for, it was so crazy, this conference, in terms of we were playing literally every play day, and then we were going to the window, then we were coming back playing every play date again, and then we were, then they had the All-Star. The good news about the All-Star is that it was almost like a break because, number one, you only practice once before you play the All-Star game. You're not practicing every day. What was tiring for the players was going out on the bus and going to different places and making appearances. But, that was actually resting their legs. And in the meantime, Justin was back here in Manila, doing practices with, 3 or 4 other guys and, a lot of shooting, going to the weight room and recharging. So that was really good for him. And now we won last night. We don't play again till Friday or Sunday. So we are getting some break. And the key for us now is making sure we don't fall out of rhythm. Mm-hmm. I think we're rested. I think we're going to be fresh, but we got to keep that rhythm. And we felt that we got that out of Talk-N-Text the game before. They came out and played hard in a non-bearing game. And that pushed us and got us ready, I think, for NLEX. We had the big fortune of playing without an import. I felt really bad for Frankie Lim. I mean, that is the absolute coach's nightmare in the PBA. Losing your import the day before you play in the playoffs. I mean, that's an absolute nightmare. Yeah. And I don't wish that on any coach. But we had that fortune. I think great teams recognize opportunities. We had an opportunity there to play the team without an import, and we went after it. And I think really good teams do that. And so I'm really happy that our team was able to do that.
Coach Scotty, how about Scotty Thompson? Had a relatively quiet night, but Maya was huge. Von Pesumal also chipping in offensively. Aljon, I was just with AJ Saturday, I believe. Yeah, it was the birthday of his dog Clay, and big game for those guys. In the last game last night, well, scoring double digits. How are you keeping your rotation. You know, it's like I'm looking at the game. It's not a short rotation, but more or less you're also, you know, giving other guys their chances to shine in the playoffs, like Vaughn, like of course Maya has been big ever since the Commissioner's Cup as well. But AJ, Aljon.
Well, I think the thing in the playoffs, you do absolutely. There's no doubt about it. You do shorten your rotation in the playoffs, and but there is a certain time where the games start to build up, and when they start to build up, you do have to lengthen it back out, and so it's unfair for those players if they're not getting any time, and suddenly they have to lengthen the rotation, and they're thrown out there, and you expect them to play great. Because again, they're out of rhythm. They're not confident in their game because they haven't been out there. So you do have to keep getting them, finding ways to keep getting them exposure.
Yeah,
it can be difficult. I mean, I never want to take a Justin Brownlee off the floor. I don't want to take a Scotty off the floor. Christian. Those guys, they need to be on the floor. And if you're taking somebody from the bench, you're basically removing somebody from the starting lineup. And so, we're conscious of the fact that we want all of our guys to play, but we also, not everybody's created equal. And, we're going to rely on certain guys down the stretch or certain parts of the game or in certain games. We have a must-win game. We're going to go with the guys, the core that we believe will get the job done. We're not going to gamble with everybody else.
Yeah. Well, Coach, you know the drill. We have to pay the bills. We have to take a break. Stay with me, okay? Don't go anywhere. Do you have a tennis appointment? Don't go anywhere. Just stay where you are. I promise you.
I'm playing tennis this afternoon.
Yes. I have all the time in the world to talk to you. Coach, let's take a breather. Okay. A clash of the Titans awaits. PBA fans in the semifinals. It's going to be good. Barangay Ginebra versus the San Miguel Beermen as they are set to collide in a best-of-5 semifinal series. And we still have on the show via Zoom Ginebra head coach Tim Cohn. Coach, after beating NLEX, as I said, Ginebra is up against San Miguel in a best-of-5 series, which analysts, people say this is good enough for the finals, but we're getting a treat. All the basketball fans here in the Philippines getting an SMB Ginebra semi-showdown, and you narrowly defeated SMB last time in the elimination round, 102-99, but again, that's way back in the elims. This time, they will be playing without Junmar Fajardo. Do you think that will affect the series? Any changes to the series, you think?
Well, they have done a really good job of the coaching staff, led by George Gunn, has done a really good job of adjusting to Jumar's absence. They're playing at a much faster pace. They're a little bit different defensively. They're moving the ball extremely well, and then Clark is playing kind of the Jumar spot at the post. He's a tremendous post player, and also Vic and Mo are also really good post up players. So they have adjusted, but yet they can almost stay the same in many respects. But it's it's kind of like us losing Japeth and LA. There has to be adjustments to be made. Other guys have to step up. You're looking at lengthening the minutes of core guys, and so it's not Jumar centric anymore. It's more like you don't know who to pick up. Do you go after Clark? Do you go after CJ? Vic Manuel. Lassiter. I mean, they have a lot of weapons. Simon and Ciso. Guys coming off the bench. It's a really tough, well-rounded team, despite the absence of Jumar. So, it's going to be a great matchup. I think it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. A lot of great matchups in the backcourt. They got shooters. You got shooters. Great import matchup with Cameron Clark and Justin Brownlee. What do you think of Cameron Clark, Coach? He had 40 and 13, leading a big third-quarter surge for SMB last night against Converge. This is going to be a good matchup with Cameron Clark and Justin Brownlee. Your thoughts on that import matchup in the semis, Coach?
Well, Cameron is really physical. He's a physical specimen. You know, he is super strong, and he's got a really, really quick first step, and he can rise up anywhere around the perimeter. He's got a great mid-range game. Doesn't really step out to the three like all the other imports. He's more right around 18 feet and in, and he's really, really good at what he's good at. I mean, I know that sounds funny, but he really is good at and he knows what he does, and he doesn't step out of character. He doesn't do things that he can't do. And he also has a really good feel for his teammates. He believes in them. He knows he's on a good team, and he uses them all. So again, that's why he's so tough. Similar to what Justin does, he's really tough because you just can't stop him, because he's going to be able to create things for his teammates.
Without giving away much, Coach, I don't want to ask who's going to be guarding CJ Perez or, addressing Vic Manuel and their shooters, because maybe Coach George is watching. Let's not give away.
Sure he is. Or either that or he's at the golf course. One or the other.
Exactly. I was about to say, maybe he's at a
he is an incredible golfer.
Coach,
sorry.
It's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. Your thoughts about CJ Perez, man? I was talking to him last week. I said, "Aren't you tired?" He said, "Well, I'm a worker. This is what my job, and this is what I do for my family and what I love to do." And CJ's been balling out, Coach, on both ends, also playing the facilitator. How will you address that? Because, as I said, CJ, like Scotty, like Jamie, also played for Gilas, also played in the All-Star game. So fatigue can be a factor, but he's young. It doesn't seem like he's getting tired anytime soon. Your thoughts on how CJ Perez is playing and how you will match up against CJ in this semis matchup?
Well, I get a chance to see CJ with the Gilas team, so I'm well versed at how great he is, and he's like he's like an energizer bunny. He reminds me of Johnny Abarientos in many respects. He just never gets tired.
Yeah.
He's always on the go. He just never looks like he's ever tired. I don't care. He plays 48 minutes. Never looks like he's tired. That was the way Johnny Abarientos was. And plus he's just got such great quickness and finishing ability. He's really playing at an MVP level right now. And I really don't see anybody out there that plays at his level in terms of being able to get to the rim and break you down, and then defensively be able to get the steals and get in the open court like he does. He's phenomenal, and he's truly a mainstay on the Gilas team at this point. The Gilas coaching staff are true believers in him.
Mm-hmm. Coach, can we get an update on Japet? Like, do we have an update on Japet Aguilar? By the way, like, how is he?
I don't think he'll be available for this series.
I see.
We're hoping maybe if we can advance, there's an opportunity he might be able to come back. In sometime in the finals, if that's available to us. But he's also not just got to get healthy. He's got to get himself back into rhythm, get himself back into playing shape. He's got to get some time out on the floor where he can make mistakes and live with it. And it's hard to do that when you're in the middle of the playoffs, and every game and every possession is so crucial. Mm-hmm. So we'll have to figure out the best way to bring him back into the lineup if he can get it back in.
Mm-hmm. Coach, the best of luck to you. I know it's really tough without key guys like LA, like Japet, but your guys are still playing and doing Ginebra things. That's why the fans love Barangay Ginebra. It's never say die. The best of luck against SMB. That will be a really great series. All eyes will be on that series. You against Coach George Gallant and Cameron Clark, Justin Brownlee, and all the other matchups. Thank you, Coach, again for your time. Enjoy your tennis later in the afternoon. And thank you for always responding to us. Best of luck, Coach. Happy Monday.
All the best. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Always
great to be here.
Yes, Coach. Always a pleasure. In regards to the family, that was Barangay Ginebra head coach Tim Cohn.